CCCA Communications. Good work on paper 2. I've made some notations, revisions, and edits in track change mode here on your paper that I will attach with your feedback on Blackboard, as well as clearly the link to this video feedback. So, through its work, New Hope for Kids addresses the issue of grieving children as a result of a loss of a loved one. So that's garbled, right? New Hope for Kids is an organization that provides grief support services to children who are suffering from the loss of a loved one, right? Let's write directly, clearly, concisely, and actively. The organization helps around 300 families per year. I don't know why there's a dash here, but is it around 300? How many is it? Or around is just a really bad word to use, right? New Hope for Kids is not, this is not an APA citation. So this is your secondary research report. In this section of your research plan, you describe the results of your secondary research. First, you describe the results of your research on your client. Who is your client? What does it do, and who does it serve? You've done that somewhat here. This needs to be better developed and probably more fully developed. You talk about the issue that will be addressed in your campaign. They often pay an ample amount of money. Well, what does that mean, right? What you need to do in this section of your secondary research is describe the results of the secondary research you conducted that can be used to help create the campaign that your campaign plan, the next chapter, is going to describe in detail. So what were the results of your research on other organizations that conducted similar campaigns? What were those other similar campaigns' goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics? What were their messages and channels? Who was their target audience? What was their timeline? And how can you adapt or adopt that information into your campaign? So the secondary research report describes the results of your secondary research, and it should be full of citations to the secondary sources that you used for your research. There's not a single citation here to Make-A-Wish. There's no description of the content that Make-A-Wish posts on its Instagram account. Impactful content that has a call to help underlying message. I have no idea what that means. What does impactful content mean? Meaningful yet positive messages. So if I'm going to describe the content of Make-A-Wish Instagram account, first of all, I need to have citations to show that I actually did secondary research on their account. Second of all, I need to describe the text and the images on that account. So Instagram is largely a visual social media platform. What were the images? Describe them. What were the messages in terms of the text? Describe them. What was the call to action? Describe them. You need to quote and describe content from the model account that you're using to develop your own campaign. There's not a single citation here to Make-A-Wish's Instagram account or to anything having to do with their campaigns, right? So if I looked, all I have to do probably is Google it. Let's look here and see. Make-A-Wish Instagram campaign. What am I going to find? Oh, goodness, lots of information, right? Images, Twitter, YouTube. So what are the slogans? What are the hashtags? What are the images that are used in that campaign? Impactful content with a call to help underlying message. Meaningful yet positive messages. It's not informative, it's not useful, and there's not a single citation to the account or to any analysis of the ways in which Make-A-Wish uses Instagram. Critical issue here in the content. Publics and stakeholders, I made a couple of changes here, but be careful talking too much about your campaign. I think that's okay here. And it's not FL, right? We don't use postal abbreviations when we're writing formally. So be careful with your wording as well. Primary research plan looks pretty good. A few, well, don't tell me a few, tell me how many, right? Come on through, and primary research results. We don't use 5th or 10th, right? We actually use October 10 and ended on November 5, 2017. We're writing formally. If you're speaking, you can say October 10th, November 5th. If I'm writing, I write the numerals and the year, okay? Primary research results looked good. I did, you don't need the decimal points. Never begin a sentence with a number or a numeral. Always either add a word in front of it or spell it out, where I would write F-I-F-T-E-E-N, right? You don't need the decimals here, so I fixed that. Again, this is not an APA citation here. Retrieved from is the correct way to put this when you don't need to put Sprout Social, right? You can just go. So in your secondary research report, I would expect you'd have, 5 or 6 citations to the secondary research you used. And most of these citations aren't even in the secondary research report. So that's your critical issue, and that you need to address in paper 3 moving forward. Let me know if you have